Many of us associate Richard Thomas with the popular television character John Boy Walton from the popular series The Waltons. Beyond the screen, however, Richard's life has been replete with profound difficulties and personal hardships that many people are unaware of. The tragic reality of Richard Thomas's life, which has been replete with unanticipated tragedies and significant loss, will be revealed in this video. You won't want to miss this story, so stay with us through to the conclusion. People have always had positive memories of Richard Thomas as an actor. He gained not only notoriety but also the affection of millions of fans worldwide for his portrayal of the sincere and sympathetic John Boy Walton. However, Richard's true life, which takes place behind the scenes of Hollywood stardom, is far from ideal. Richard's path has been tainted by more than simply the glamour of TV, from early fame to personal tragedy. His tale is one of hardship and tenacity rather than celebrity and wealth, the tragic and challenging times in Richard Thomas's life that many fans are unaware of will be discussed in this film. Some of the things we expose will surprise you, even if you believe you already know everything there is to know about the well-loved celebrity. To fully comprehend the tragedy surrounding Richard Thomas's life, remain with us through to the very end. At an early age, Richard Thomas became well known. He began performing at a young age, having been born in New York City in 1951. His career was defined by his casting as John Boy Walton in The Waltons, which was his big break. Richard became famous almost immediately as a result of the show, which ran from 1972 to 1981. However, Richard's early Hollywood years were not as dazzling as they may have appeared, even with the celebrity that accompanied the part. He was, in fact, frequently torn between the difficulties of growing up in the spotlight and the demands of being a young actor. As the star of a show that had such a significant influence on viewers, Richard had to mature rapidly and frequently felt the burden of responsibility. Richard became well known thanks to the Waltons, but it also presented a unique set of difficulties and demands. The role's fame wasn't as happy as most people would think, and it caused him to struggle in his personal life, which would eventually define his latter years. On the surface, Richard Thomas seems to have it all, but his private life is a different matter. The abrupt loss of his father, Richard S. Thomas, from a heart attack in 1975, at the height of his career, was a devastating personal tragedy that would forever alter Richard's life. It was heartbreaking for Richard to lose his father at such a young age because they were so close. For years, Richard struggled with the pain he felt after his father passed away. It is stated that this tragedy changed his outlook on life and left a lasting impression on him. It's difficult to lose a parent at any age, but it can be particularly devastating for a young guy in his early 20s. The setback was a turning point that would affect many of Richard's choices in the years that followed. The tragedy, however, did not stop there. Richard will experience much more personal pain as he grew older. His already challenging existence became even more emotionally taxing when his first marriage to actress Alma Gonzalez ended in divorce. In addition to being a setback to his personal life, his marriage's dissolution served as a reminder that wealth and celebrity don't always translate into happiness. Another challenging period in Richard's life that would influence his perspectives on love and relationships was his divorce. Richard Thomas has also been candid about the difficulties he encountered in his personal life after his divorce and father's passing. Many people don't connect his public demeanor with his struggles with depression and loneliness. Richard Thomas was a man who was coping with severe emotional scars, whereas John Boy Walton was the personification of optimism and hope. Many fans never really understood the difference between the guy he was off-screen and the character he played. On screen, Richard talked candidly about these difficulties and how they affected his life in his senior years. He acknowledged that he struggled for a long time to reconcile the person he had become with the persona that had brought him fame. Although his role as John Boy Walton gained him immense renown, it also prevented him from living his own life to the fullest because of the shadow of his character. Richard put a lot of effort into overcoming these personal struggles. He managed to keep up his acting career, working in theater, television, and movies. However, he never completely recovered from the emotional toll of his personal hardships. The tragic drama that unfolded behind the scenes included his father's death, his divorce, and his continued struggle with depression. Another sad death marked one of the most tragic periods in Richard Thomas's life. Richard's daughter from his second marriage was given a life-threatening diagnosis in 1998. Tragically, his daughter died at a very young age, despite Richard's best efforts to support her during her struggle. For Richard, this defeat was a devastating blow. One of the most difficult experiences a person can go through is the pain of losing a kid, which no parent should have to go through. In interviews, Richard has discussed this loss and described it as a transformative event that changed who he is. Another event that would alter his life forever was the loss of his daughter, which caused him to suffer for a long time. Richard. Thomas has endured a great deal of suffering and loss throughout his life, but he has also demonstrated amazing fortitude. He acknowledges that finding peace with his past has been a continuous struggle, but he has learnt to do so over the years. His experience is proof of the resilience of the human spirit and its capacity to recover even in the face of severe loss. Even though his acting career isn't as active as it once was, Richard Thomas still acts nowadays. It took time and a lot of introspection, but he has finally found peace. In many respects, Richard's narrative is one of survival, a man who overcame unfathomable obstacles to continue living, evolving, and moving forward. There are many tales of tragedy and success throughout Richard Thomas's life. His path serves as a reminder that every public personality has a true struggle behind them, from his early prominence on the Waltons to the personal losses that have impacted him. In addition to being tragic, his story is inspirational, a reminder of the courage that can be discovered even in the face of unfathomable loss. Remember that no matter what obstacles we encounter, we can overcome them and keep going forward as we consider Richard's life. We appreciate your time, and if this story touched you, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more touching tales like this one. Stay tuned for our upcoming video, we hope.